Hello, Wonderhussy here, in the beautiful eastern Sierra town of Bishop, California, for Mule Days. Bishop, California is a small town of about 4,000 people nestled at the foot of the mighty Sierra Nevada mountains on US 395, and it's one of the most picturesque places I've ever been. It has a charming, old-fashioned downtown area with super quaint little mom-and-pop businesses including cafes, restaurants, bookshops, and bars. Not to mention stores that cater to the thriving outdoors industry, since this area is a paradise for hikers, climbers, and fishermen. And even though it's technically in the high desert, Bishop feels cool and shady with lots of lush green trees and grass, and the jaw-droppingly gorgeous snow-capped Sierras in the background. You know how people like to say that a certain part of the country is God's country? Well, this place right here is the closest I've ever been to anywhere even remotely fitting that bill. And sometimes I wonder why I didn't move to this part of Inyo County instead of the heat-blasted, godforsaken desert on the other side of Death Valley. Anyway, I've been to Bishop many times over the years, but this was the first time I've ever made it out here for what they call Mule Days, an annual celebration of the humble yet powerful creature who helped build so much of the American West. As a matter of fact, Bishop bills itself as the mule capital of the world, and with good reason. Not only were mules instrumental in helping European settlers get out west to begin with, they were also crucial in building infrastructure once the pioneers got out here. Mules were used to haul lumber, machinery, and supplies for the boom towns, railroads, and mines dotting the mountains on both sides of the Owens Valley. So mules have always been a big part of Bishop's history, and I would call them the unsung heroes of the American West, except for the fact that every Memorial Day weekend since 1970, the folks in Bishop have been singing their praises at their annual Mule Days festival. Mule Days is a celebration of all things Western in general, and mules in particular. For almost an entire week, there's exhibits, shows, and workshops at the county fairgrounds, but the main event is the big parade on Saturday morning. According to their website, something like 30,000 people show up for Mule Days every year, and it seemed like most of them were right out there on the street waving flags and tooting horns as the parade went by, right down the middle of US 395. Dignitaries, beauty queens, agricultural schools, local businesses, the Southern Paiute Native American tribe all marched down the street either on foot or in wagons, including the granddaddy of them all, the famous 20 Mule Team that used to haul borax out of Death Valley. If you watched my video at the 20 Mule Team Museum in Boron, you might remember that the 20 Mule Team is actually 18 mules and 2 horses hauling 8,000-pound wagons containing 10 tons of borax across the desert from Death Valley to the railroad siding in Mojave. But museum exhibits can't convey the sheer scale of these massive wagons and the massively powerful animals who pulled them. Seeing that 20 Mule Team rolling down Main Street was an awe-inspiring experience. You could literally feel it in your bones. Look, here comes the California breakfast burritos that I marched with in the Lone Pine Film Festival parade. It was a lot of fun watching the wagons and carriages go by, but remember, this wasn't just Mule Days, it was also Memorial Day weekend. And some of the most moving marchers in the parade paid tribute to our United States military veterans, both human and mule. pack mules have served the U.S. military in every war right up through the 21st century, thanks to rocky terrain in places like Afghanistan. So it was really cool and really touching to see the military mules getting their due respect. And I also had a great measure of respect for the MVP of this whole show, the street sweeper. Oh yeah, here they come to clean up all the mule crap. Look at that. Most important guy in the whole parade. Okay, wow, that parade was super cool. I felt like I was in a real life Norman Rockwell painting. Everybody red, white, and blue, waving flags, kids having a good time running around. You know, all I have to do is turn off the news, come to a place like this, and you'll realize that everything is still okay. Anyway, now we're gonna walk into the Fairgrounds area, and we're gonna go try to check out one of the shows, but also just kind of walk around and see what's going on. There's a lot of mules kept here in pens, so we can get up close and personal with some of the mules. Okay, got my ticket to the 1 o'clock show. Until then, let's walk around and see what's going on here at the fairgrounds. Look at this, ammo jewelry. Is this jewelry made out of ammunition? Oh, look at that, it sure is. Ooh, saddles. Look at these gorgeous leather saddles. Ooh, Dr. Sam's Great American Cure-All Tonic. Oh, I wonder if it's CBD oil. Ooh, Smokey's Cabin. Let's go in Smokey's Cabin. Oh, it's a Cal Fire exhibit. Look how cool this is. Oh, we love our firefighters. Appreciate you guys. Well, this reminds me of when I went to the Smokey Bear Museum in New Mexico. Oh, for my antenna. Oh, but I don't have an antenna. That's okay. I'll find somewhere to put it. Cool, thank you. Oh, Death Valley National Park. Woot, woot. I agree. We live right on the edge of it. We're big fans. Ah, the Hillbilly Flannel Company. Gallopin' Glitz. Oh, from Grants Pass. My rights don't end where your feelings begin. Well said. When you think of California, you might not realize it has a really strong Western cowboy culture, especially in rural areas like the Eastern Sierra. So as long as it was mule, horse, or Western related, you could buy just about anything at the Mule Days vendor area. Don't be a dumbass, wash your hands. It was fun to walk around and look at all the souvenirs and stuff, but the real star of the show were the mules themselves. Breeders from all over the country come to Bishop every year to exhibit their mules at Mule Days, and apparently there's some pretty big money in it because there were some pretty fancy ranches representing. Oh yeah, they've won a lot of first place. Oh, this is like their tack room. Dang. Here's the message board advertising for the Mule Days contestants. Here's a beautiful model John mule for sale. $12,500. Here's another one. Best trail mule around. $7,500. Wow, these mules are not cheap. Okay, I'll admit it. I guess I didn't completely understand this before coming here, but a mule is basically the offspring of a female horse and a male donkey. Apparently, they can crossbreed. A donkey can impregnate a horse, and the resulting offspring is what we call a mule. And mules display the qualities of both breeds. The tall body of a horse and the long, fuzzy ears of a donkey. But it's not just muscles and long ears. Mules are prized for being smarter and hardier than horses. Although a horse can run faster, a mule has greater stamina and is much better suited for hauling heavy wagons and ore bins and packs of supplies along rocky, uneven trails. Incidentally, it's not a two-way street when it comes to breeding horses with donkeys. If you try breeding a male horse with a female donkey, I guess you get something called a hinny that supposedly, according to one of the trainers I talked to, inherits the worst qualities of both breeds. The skittishness of a horse and the stubbornness of a mule. And speaking of that stubbornness, you know how they always say, stubborn as a mule? Well, it's not like mules are trying to be dicks. They're just looking out for themselves. They're not trying to do something stupid that's gonna kill them. You know, like some old-timey pioneer might have been trying to force his mule up some steep, sketchy cliff, and the mule absolutely refuses to go any further, despite the guy wailing on it with a stick. Well, the mule's not trying to be a dick. It's just trying to look out for itself. And a trainer I was talking to said there's a theory about that, why mules are so stubborn or careful, and it's because they're sterile. Mules can't reproduce. The only way you can make new mules is by breeding a female horse with a male donkey. And so since they can't reproduce on their own, they know that this is the end of the genetic line, and so they're not going to risk their lives doing something dumb. And since I'm not planning to reproduce myself, I feel like there's a thing or two I could learn from these mules. Now, we learned yesterday, talking to one of these mule trainers, that these mules can see, like, well, they have almost a 180-degree field of view, right? Their eyes can see, like, because their eyes are, I guess, farther spaced apart than a horse, so they can see farther behind them. So, like with a horse, you don't want to come up behind a horse because it can't see behind it, and if it turns around and sees you, it'll spook and, like, kick you. But with a mule, apparently they can see you even when you're way back here behind them. And apparently this one doesn't even really care. Ooh, look at this. Beautiful purple. I'm not sure if that's called a landau or a surrey. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, yeah, of course we don't have any mules to pull it with, but I'm sure we could find some strapping young bucks to pull us around. Okay, here's where all the owners of these mules parked their horse trailers. And I mean, this one has a big rig. This ranch has an entire big rig that they drove all the way out here, I think from Oklahoma. And look how many mules they fit in this giant trailer. There's a lot of money in some of these ranches. But I like going around here at the fairgrounds because this is where a lot of the trainers and the mule packers, I guess, with less money, basically camp out. It's like at the Renaissance Fair. You know, I bet they have some banging after hours parties here. You know, like the owners of the ranch probably stay at some hotel in town, but you know, the trainers and the ranch workers, the hands-on folks, they're just out here sleeping in tents and motorhomes, like carnies. Oh, here's where they have clinics where you can learn how to do all kinds of various things related to mule packing. Like they had one about Australian tack and your mule. Oh, the Death Valley wagon drive. Now that would be interesting. Yeah, this woman right here, I guess apparently she does the Death Valley drive. It says each year in November, several wagons and drivers make the trek across Death Valley. Look at that. They actually pull covered wagons across Death Valley every year. I totally have to check that out next November. Anyway, there's all kinds of different clinics. Vet care in the backcountry. Dutch oven cooking in the backcountry, which are probably some of the best meals you'll have anywhere. There's nothing like a delicious meal cooked in a Dutch oven over a campfire. God, and this dramatic snow-capped mountains in the backdrop. This is one of the most beautiful towns in the entire USA. I'm not kidding. I'm seriously considering buying a second home here. All right, now we're gonna check out the show. The shows at Mule Days are basically kind of like a rodeo, with some of the same events like barrel racing. But remember, mules are prized for their stamina, not speed, so no one was setting any records, although the chariot race did get pretty dramatic. The Mule Days show is more about just having fun and showing off these beautiful animals. There was a costume contest, complete with mules dressed up like the Three Stooges, and even Sergeant Reckless, a horse who served in the Korean War. And then there was something called Cup of Noodles, where the mule riders had to grab a pool noodle and thread it through a loop. These events are basically meant to demonstrate the capabilities of the mules and their riders. Mules are still used to pack supplies up to remote camps in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and there were several pack outfits competing in the events. The most intense was something called a pack scramble, where each team had to fully unload all the gear from their mules, then turn them loose into the arena and let them run around together all mixed up. Then, at the signal, they had to round up their particular mules, hitch them all together, load their packs, and run them in a full loop around the entire arena. And whichever pack outfit did it in the fastest time won the blue ribbon, and I guess bragging rights at the local saloon. But for me, the highlight was at the end of the show, when they let everyone in the stands come down and get up close and personal with the 20 Mule Team. Okay, now we get to go out and up close and personal with the 20 Mule Teams. You guys want to see one of these giant mules up close? Well, first let's go check out the wagon. I'm kind of curious to stand next to this giant friggin' borax wagon. I mean, look at how tall these wheels are. You can see, you know, that's a full-grown man standing next to one. It's taller than he is. Let me see how tall it is compared to me. I mean, I'm only 5'3". Well, maybe like 5'7" with these mule ears. Oh, how cool is this? We can see up inside the wagons. How cool is that? I guess that's where they would have hauled all the borax. And then this tank in the back is where they carried all the drinking water for the mules as they dragged all that weight across barren, arid, baking Death Valley. I mean, how heavy would that have been to be full of water? I mean, that combined with all this borax, that was an insane amount of weight for these beautiful mules, these beautiful, patient, strong, obedient mules to pull. Absolutely amazing, and how cool that we get to see them up close and personal. I don't know when I'll get the chance to do this again. Look at them. Oh, they're so smart. Oh, I guess they have those little flaps next to their eyes to keep them from seeing behind them. Remember I was saying earlier how they have a really wide field of vision? I guess that stops them from seeing all the chaos going on behind. That's my best guess, anyway. I want to check out these bells. They have these beautiful bells. Oh, I love the sound of these bells, just on the two in the front. Look at that. So cool. And they're so patient, just letting anybody who wants to come up and take pictures with them. Very docile. So gentle. Look, it's a Brazilian boiadeiro. This dude drove all the way here from Brazil, right? Wow, he's a Brazilian cowboy, and he's got this amazing horn on his back that apparently you can blow into it and make noise, but what, it's too loud to do it here? Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, it might spook the mules, yeah, okay. Wow, your outfit is amazing. I love it, very stylish. This is a typical boiadeiro outfit, okay. And what's your dog's name?
From Sebastian here.
Oh, Sebastian. Oh, Sebastian, what a beauty. Hi. He wants to eat my microphone. Oh, he's going to ride a mule all the way back to Brazil. That's amazing. Wow. Salute. Oh, so you also have a YouTube channel about your journey?
Yeah,
and what's the name of your channel?
It's Berranteiro das Américas.
I'll look it up and I'll put that in the description so people can follow you on your journey. That's so cool.
I entered here from Laredo.
Laredo, Texas.
Yes. And then we're going to Tennessee.
You went all the way to Tennessee?
Yeah, Nashville. And then Virginia, Washington, D.C., New York.
Well, you've seen more of this country than most Americans have.
Yeah.
You're driving an 89 Ford pickup, manual. Oh my goodness. Wow, here's a man, ladies, right here. Are you single, sir? Yeah. Okay, all right. Boiadeiro right here. Wow, okay, so this guy's gonna ride all the way back to Brazil with 2 mules and his dog. I guess he's leaving his truck. You're gonna leave your truck up here, or what are you gonna do with your truck?
My truck's gonna keep here with a friend.
Oh, you're gonna leave your truck with a friend and just walk with 2 mules?
Yeah.
Wow, all the way to where?
To Brazil, to Bahia.
How are you gonna cross like the Darien Gap?
That's the biggest point.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's dangerous.
There's no house.
Okay, he said he'll play his horn for us, but we have to get away from these mules because we don't want to spook them. You know, these are huge mules, and if they get spooked, woo-wee, no telling what could happen to me. And I'm wearing flip-flops. Okay, we're gonna hear this. What do you guys call this thing? What's it called?
It's called berrante.
And what is that? What animal is that from?
Cattle.
So that's a longhorn cattle.
1, 2, 3,
Oh, I see. It's four put
different-
together. Oh,
from
okay.
different.
Okay, here we go. Oh my god, it sounds amazing. Woo! Oh, amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that demonstration. Everybody, follow this guy's YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the description to the video. Gosh, it's almost like jazz. Look at that. He can play like a bugle. Amazing! Thank you! Thank you so much! So cool. So basically that guy drove his 80s truck all the way up from Brazil, through Laredo, Texas, all around the USA, and now he's gonna walk all the way back to Brazil with 2 mules and his dog. I feel so lazy. Okay, in my defense, just walking around the fairgrounds in the hot sun all day does kind of wear a person out. So after a few hours, we said goodbye to the mules and the fairgrounds and headed back down the road to downtown Bishop to find some food. Okay, all that Mule Days action made me a little hungry. So we came here to this place called Molcajetes, which happens to serve a drink they call the Mexican Mule. I guess it's like a Moscow Mule, but instead of vodka, it's made with tequila. But it's in the same little copper mug, and it's the only thing one should drink when one is at Mule Days. Cheers. Happy Mule Days, everyone.